Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. This is Straightforward with Ms.B, episode number 62. And I want to thank all of you for continuing to join us. Well, join me, however. But as we always do, let's chill, sit back, relax, grab your vices, and let's get straight to it. What's been going on, people? It's been about a good 3 weeks since I published the last podcast. Hopefully, you good people have enjoyed it. I have been on vacation. Sometimes you just really need to take a break. You need to relax, enjoy yourself, especially go somewhere, explore a different scenery, which is what I did. This time around, normally for my birthday, I love to travel, of course, but and I'm normally going to some Caribbean island because I enjoy the water. The ocean is definitely a happy place for me. However, this year, I'm kind of in my nature girl era, and I wanted to go somewhere I had never been before. I've been on the West Coast couple times, San Diego, Los Angeles. I believe I've been like to Inglewood. Of course, I've been to Las Vegas a couple of times, Texas. And this time I definitely wanted to head a little bit up north. So yeah, I vacation in the Pacific Northwest. I got the opportunity to visit the great state of Oregon. I was in Portland for a couple of days. A friend of mine was there for work, so I decided to meet her out there for like a day or two, and then I headed over to Seattle. But let me jump back real quick to Portland. Tell you a funny story, and this is going to kind of segue into some other things that we're going to get into today. So yeah, while I was in Portland, and mind me if I'm sounding a little groggy. I have a deep voice as it is, but today I sound a little groggy. I think I kind of overslept a little bit today. But anyway, so Portland, I can definitely say. Let me start off with the positive. Portland definitely have, as far as like the aesthetic goes. I definitely like the older buildings, from an architectural standpoint, as well as, the people there are kind of um, artsy, creative. Of course, you have, in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of probably the people from the 60s, the ex stoners, and of course, the cannabis industry is huge out there. So you kind of get that kind of, vibe holistically in Portland. I will say there has to be something, however, there has to be something done to the homeless population. There is a lot of when you go to and mind you, we were talking to a couple of natives, and especially like during like Uber drives, and they always say, well, years ago it wasn't like this. Years ago it wasn't, we didn't have homeless people just everywhere. Everywhere you turn, every block you walk down, there wasn't as many homeless people. And they think because of when like the marijuana laws were updated and changed, and it became a lot more lenient for individuals to carry cannabis, carry it around or even use it. um the laws got more laxed, which made the police department get more laxed. And apparently, they had defunded the police department as well. So there's not a lot of officers you will see on the street. However, due to the high homeless rate, they do have kind of like these law enforcement officers who kind of stand on certain blocks in downtown Portland, and they have on their little vests, and they're supposed to be there to kind of, I guess, watch out for, watch out for any type of potential crime that could happen or anything crazy, or just there for the safety of the citizens, the safety of the citizens of the city. But yeah, it was a little bit alarming. Now, here in Atlanta, we do have a huge homeless population, but normally our homeless population, they are kind of what I would say, they're kind of like gathered in certain particular areas. You kind of know where they are. You have some that will put up their makeshift homes under bridges, things like that. So they're kind of settled in just certain areas. They're kind of grouped together, so you know which areas they reside in, which is a little bit different from Portland that I seen, because Portland, they are absolutely everywhere. Like, I really did not see an area. It wasn't like LA where you know of Skid Row, and a lot of the homeless people actually live on Skid Row. In Portland, they were kind of scattered about. They were everywhere. You could see them everywhere. And mind you, not only were they homeless, but you can tell that a lot of them maybe suffered from, drug abuse. Those, pictures that we see of people on heroin and meth and, all of those type of things, how you would see videos of them kind of slumped over and bent over and just not standing upright and, half sleep. That is what we saw in Portland. And I think Portland has a problem. Portland definitely has a problem. Now, mind you, I myself did not probably, add too much positivity on the situation, because next to the hotel that I was staying in, there was a cannabis dispensary. And of course, I like to partake in, gummies, CBD, from time to time, as well as THC, because it helps with my anxiety. It helps me sleep better. It helps my back pains. So yeah, so I wanted to just, hey, while in Portland, do what the Portlands do. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So I went to the dispensary. I met a nice young lady. I forgot her name, but she was so welcoming, and she kind of helped me pick out. I bought some what you call daytime gummies, that were couple of milligrams, but apparently too much of the milligram dosage was in there, and I'm going to get to that story here in just a second. But anyway, so she helped me with the little gummies. They kind of tasted, as far as flavor, peach mango, so they was really really nice. And then also I asked her, okay, maybe I would try chocolate. So we went to the fridge that they have in the store, and she was able to give me another chocolate, which was supposed to be quote unquote a daytime chocolate, meaning that, if you use this in the daytime, it's not supposed to slow you down or just make you um abundantly relaxed to where you're kind of stuck and don't want to move and just want to lay around. Is I supposed to be able to still, have mobility and, be able to go throughout my day and enjoy it, right? So I bought the little chocolate as well. I think my price for both, I forgot how much it kind of came up to, maybe $25, $30 at the most. But yeah, so I took it back to the hotel room, right? And so me and one of my besties, we were bunking together, not in the same bed, of course, but we were bunking together, and I'm in the room, and she kept saying, okay, well, me and my like I said, she was there on a work trip, and I was just there just so I can, visit her and see Portland, since I had never visited Portland. Um, And so this was kind of part one of my vacation exploration trip, right? So yeah, I had the gummies and the thing. And so she was saying, "Hey, me and my coworkers, we're going to dinner later. We have reservations for this nice dinner place, blah blah blah. And I think you could kind of like overlook the city. And she invited me to come with them." And so I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come with you." You know what I'm saying? Sure. I'm all about eating. I love if those of you who may listen that know me, I don't mind spending money on food. I'm one of those people. If it's a nice restaurant and the food is the bomb, I don't mind spending $100, $200 on food, just depending on what it is. I've spent that much on one plate sitting before, and I don't really mind because I consider myself to have a very I have what you call an extensive, I guess, palate. So there's a lot of different types of food that I like. I enjoy eating. And sometimes, depending on where I am, if I'm traveling, out of the country or within the U.S., sometimes it could become a little bit expensive. But hey, it's all about just happiness for me, you know what I'm saying, and food made me happy. So anyway, so I kept telling her, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the dinner with you guys, you don't have to worry about it, I'm gonna be ready to go, blah 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 blah." So I said, "Well, let me take the little gummy, so I could just kind of get in my chill relaxed mode, so I could be feeling good, enjoying myself. Hell, I'm on vacation, I do what the fuck I want." So I took the gummy, and mind you, I took one whole gummy, like one little round little gummy candy. And this was the peach mango one. So I took that, and I'm still about we sitting while she's in conferences all day. She's at a conference. I'm in the room just chilling, watching TV, you know, just doing what I do, right? Um, Next thing you know, an hour passed, and I really wasn't feeling anything. I didn't feel any changes to my mood or anything like that after eating the gummy. So I'm thinking, okay, this shit don't work. Like Portland, y'all got some, this is beyond mid. This ain't hitting. I thought y'all supposed to have good stuff. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, why is it not working? So I decided to then get the chocolate, right? And I said, well, I can't eat an entire whole chocolate, but I'm going to definitely eat a piece of the chocolate, right? So I ate a piece of the chocolate. I'll say the next 30 minutes to an hour, Lord have mercy. I mean, when I say it all kicked in, woo, the buzz kicked in. I will tell you that I was blowed, man. Like I hadn't been that way in a very probably since college day. Excuse me, since college days, but I was out of there, man. You talking about daytime? Shit. All I could say was I was in that bed. My mind was racing 100 miles per minute. Paranoia was setting in. I'm just like, and then I have I don't have a problem with flying on planes and things like that, but when it comes to heights in buildings, it definitely boosts up my anxiety level. And I forgot what floor we were on in this hotel. I think it may have been 10 or 11 possibly. However, my paranoia was setting in. I'm like, oh my God, I am too far high up in the air in this building to be this high. I was like, long as I just sit in this bed, let me just sit in this bed. Do not get out of this bed. Drink some water. I'm like, all of this is going through my mind because I was just that blowed, right? So by the time my friend came in from her conference at the end of their daily conference, she came in and she just was busting out laughing at me because I was just so I was so high and stuck, man. It was just so crazy. She was looking at me like, "Friend, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am doing well, man." I'm like, "Yes, I am doing wonderful." I'm like, I'm just stuck. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it to this dinner. I'm not. Please bring me something back to eat. I know I am not going to make it to this dinner at all. I'm not, because one thing I knew, that if I was to, first of all, if I would have got up out of the bed, it would have taken me forever to put some decent clothes on. And then once we got out in the street and walking around to this restaurant, I knew right then that there's going to be some problems. I probably would have freaked out, just because I'm in a different place, different environment, and what the fuck? Okay, I was in a different environment and everything like that. Didn't know where I was, so I probably would have freaked out for sure. So that's why I did not, go to the dinner with them. But it was hilarious. I swear, the buzz that I had, it didn't wear off to the next morning. I just kind of fell asleep. Well, she did end up after dinner. She did bring me something. I was able to snack on that a little bit, and then yeah, I was crashed out to the next morning. But anyway, needless to say, I had, other than that, I had a nice little quick visit to Portland. And then I was on my way to Seattle. And in Seattle, the plane, I was able to, I didn't want to waste the gummies and the chocolate, so I did end up traveling with them. So I packed them in my bag, and with no problem, I was able to get through, TSA pre-check and all of that. So yeah, I brought them on to Seattle, and now this time I knew that, hey, I could never eat an entire one of the gummies. I would have to just kind of bite off half of it. So that's kind of what I did for the remaining of my vacation. Seattle was a bunch of fun. Seattle is definitely a much lovelier place than Portland, I would say. But one thing both have in common, they have beautiful mountains. There was a lot of fog and clouds, so I really couldn't get the greatest view of the mountains when I was up there. But I was able to see the wonderful, boat docks and all of the water and things like that, especially in Seattle. I visited, a couple of little monumental places like the spheres and the what was that? What do they call it? The Needle, the Seattle Needle. Kind of like a monument that sits high up in the air. I believe you can go to the top. It's like a what they call it? Not a conservatory, but I don't know, kind of like a lookout spot where you can just overlook the entire city of Seattle. That was nice to visit. We didn't get the opportunity to go all the way up though, but that was fine. What else that I did? Went nature walking to the Japanese gardens. Oh, in Portland, I did get to visit a couple of. Went to the Portland Art Museum, which happens to be, Portland has one of the, if not the oldest, art museum on the West Coast, and it's one of the oldest art museums in the entire country. So I was delighted. I am a fan of art as well, whether it's abstract, contemporary, old school art as well. From Van Gogh, people like that. So I was able to go see this exhibit that they had for the creator of this Pinocchio, the animated movie that they have on Netflix. The guy who kind of designed the characters and things like that. He had his own art exhibit there. Guillermo, I forgot his last name. But it was a very, very nice art exhibit, as well as they had other exhibits for people to go and browse through as well. So I had a wonderful time out there. I went there by myself, just kind of, walking around Portland downtown by myself, trying to dodge the homeless druggies. But yeah, I had a nice time. But yeah, in Seattle, we went to the Drake concert. Um, Drake concert, Sexy Red, Drake. Let's see. 21 Savage. Yeah, me and my cousin. I went to up there to me and her went up there and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. It was so much fun. We ate good. One thing I can say, Pacific Northwest, I did not eat one bad meal while I was on vacation. Every place I went to, even breakfast spots, the food was the bomb. So thank you very much for definitely filling my stomachs up with some great grand old food. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much time of the podcast. But yeah, that's what I did. I had a wonderful time. Now I'm back at home. And hey, I will be up there again because I want to go. I want to go during the winter time. I want to hit the mountains, do some skiing, some snowboarding, things like that. Some other, you just nature field activities. So I do plan on going back, maybe in the next couple of months. But we will see. Anyway, so talking about being zoned out, if you remember, my brief little, my brief story about being blowed and high after eating gummies, then yeah, we will be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who apparently he just keeps freezing on live TV and just looks completely zoned out. And we need to get to the fucking bottom of this and figure out why Mr. Mitch McConnell keeps freezing out like this. So, on Wednesday of this week, again, during a press conference, we saw McConnell freeze about 30 seconds as he, was kind of speaking with reporters. And this was in Covington, Kentucky. Of course, we know that this is like the second incident, which was happened the last time it happened at the U.S. Capitol last month. Um, and so for the 81-year-old, people are kind of worried. Like, this is one of those things where it's a lot of older gentlemen who have been holding on to these Congress seats for so long in these political positions for so long, damn near all their lives. And it's like, at what age do we tell them to sit their asses down? We've seen Joe Biden himself falling off of bikes and shit. And it's like, okay, the older they get, they're losing some of their, what they call it, cognitive clues. The brain is slowing down, the physicalness, mobility is slowing down as well. And at some point, should there be a limit to how many terms that they serve, especially considering that a lot of these guys are older people, and not everybody. I mean, even if you are someone who maybe, is frequents the doctor, do your annual checkups, go jogging, work out in the gym, you eat well and all of that, regardless of if you still, once you get to a certain age, it's like your body just does not function the way that it used to be. And so people are definitely worried about McConnell. Now, the freezing, I believe they said it's because of, as you know, he did experience some type of concussion recently, and they believe that this is kind of like the aftermath, things that are happening to him sporadically after suffering from that concussion. um his team believes that he's okay. I don't know, but excuse me, I don't think so, because at the press conference on Wednesday, a reporter had asked him if he was going to run for re-election in 2026. The reporter had to ask him more than one time, and he kind of like gave a little quick little chuckle when it, but he paused and he just was staring, staring straight ahead without saying anything. Um, then he had one of his assistant, maybe. She walked up beside him and she, whispered in his ear, "Did you hear the question, Senator? Are you running for re-election in 2026?" However, McConnell did not respond again. And then the assistant or aide is what they call them. Then she told reporters, "I'm sorry, everybody, we're going to need a minute." And then then a member of the senator's detail spoke quietly to him on the side, and McConnell was able to just kind of whisper and answer whatever question that he asked. Probably was asking, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Um, so yeah. So a spokesperson for McConnell's team told CNN that the Kentucky Republican felt momentarily lightheaded and paused during his press conference today. While he feels fine as a prudential measure, the leader will be consulting a physician prior to his next event. Okay, duh. He needs to keep consulting. He does not need to be out here trying to speak on behalf. He does not even need to be in office at this point. He does not need to hold his position. The man is. I mean, I look now. When I get old, do I want to be able to still work? Yes, I want to still be able to bring in an income. You know, I still want to work. So I'm not elderly bashing here. However, if I know that my motor skills, my mental mobility skills, if that is slowing down and is not up to par enough for the job at hand, then I will gracefully bow out. And I think this is what a lot of these older politicians need to do. It says McConnell, the leader of the Senate Republican caucus, he's been a leader since 2007. He's, of course, as I stated, he's faced numerous questions about his health throughout this year. Again, he was treated for a concussion and a fractured rib after he fell at a hotel in Washington, D.C. back in March. After that, he returned to the Senate seat several weeks later. So yeah, he could possibly be suffering just some after effects from that particular fall. Um, yeah, so I would like to know how you guys feel about that. Do you believe that these older politicians need to continue holding their seats, even though they may be suffering from some type of health condition? Will it be, an early onset of dementia, arthritis, or what have you? Like, do you believe that they should still be sitting? Yeah, it should be. Do you think they should be sitting there? But all in all, Mr. McConnell, I myself, I wish you great health. Continue to live a prosperous life as much as you possibly can. However, I do, want you to just be real about this situation. And hey, you just might be at that age now. You're 81 years old, where you need to just kind of sit down and just live off your retirement sugar. That's all you need to do. All right. Okay. So, as I was saying, zoned out. Um, I tell you what, let's talk about this and I thought this was kind of interesting. This was kind of interesting. Let's see. So, another person that particularly, and I just thought of this literally like right now while on the past post, I mean, on the podcast. I usually have kind of like a little brief agenda that I write down prior to recording. just to have some notes by my side. But this one I just literally just thought about. So let's talk about Gunplay and his wife real quick. For those individuals who may be familiar with the show Love and Hip Hop, especially the Miami franchise, or you may be familiar with the Maybach Music Group, which is a record label owned by artist and entrepreneur Rick Ross. Um, the rapper Gunplay has been kind of making a few of the urban headlines lately. Considering, his past life with dabbing into the drug cocaine. So recently he was arrested for basically pointing a firearm at his wife and mother of his fairly newborn child. Um, Apparently the two got into an argument. He had been drinking. She claims that he is back using cocaine, and he was playing Xbox or PS5, got angry because he was making a lot of noise and he was waking up the baby, and she kept asking him, "Can you please quiet down? You're waking up the baby. You're waking up the baby." And he kept making a lot of noise. He apparently got very, very angry, did not want to get off the game, and he ended up pointing a firearm pointing a firearm at the wife while she was holding the baby. Now, Gunplay, you have always been a very transparent rapper, whether it in his music or during, just during interviews. He would talk about his drug habit and how at one point, I believe he did maybe go to rehab, try to stop using, but apparently it may have kind of striked up again. And it's very unfortunate because if anybody follows him, once he met his fiance and they got married, he was all about, turning his life around at this point, becoming a better person. It seems as though he was headed on the right track. He had always had a lot of previous legal issues, been in jail a few times and things like that. His music career, it was kind of mid bubbling a little bit, but then he kind of fell off. We really didn't hear any more music from him, but he still maintained his relationship with the Maybach Music Group and Rick Ross. Um, and he was talented as far as the music goes. However, it just seems as though, he may be just kind of going through the motions again. And unfortunately, this incident happened and he was arrested. I think he's since been released, and they are still kind of going back and forth about what happened. He says, it wasn't that serious, blah, 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 blah. Then another video has come out showing him on a different occasion, the two arguing, and he's holding a frying pan in his hand, and basically he used the frying pan to smash the flat screen TV on their wall. So he's definitely spiraling out of control. It's probably a mixture of maybe the cocaine and alcohol, or hell, it could be just alcohol by itself. Because I won't say, I don't know what this man do for real. So this is all alleged. But it just seems from the videos, Gunplay is kind of maybe spiraling. Maybe sometimes, it just seems like the last few years, especially since the pandemic, just our black men, has been going through mental trauma, like mental warfare, and they just have been spiraling out of control. But I wish nothing but the best for Gunplay. Hopefully he puts out more, tap into the music side. Put your frustrations and your thoughts, let the music be your therapist. Put some music out. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to see these things happening with the person that you love. and your little baby. Like, we don't want to see these type of, press headlines about you doing something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now your wife is threatening to divorce you. She's filing for divorce, and hey, as a woman, I can't really blame her. Who wants to live like that? You have to think about, it's not only her life at this point. She has to, be able to safeguard the life of her baby. You know what I'm saying? And leaving you and divorcing you is the, route to take in this instance. So, unfortunately, man, you're about to lose your little family that you was so proud about. You're about to lose your family, man. Cause don't no woman wants to deal with this. Not in 2023. We don't have to deal with it. And your wife is a very pretty chocolate girl. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she probably will not have a problem finding nobody else, but it's like she loved you. She wanted to be with you. And unfortunately, the shit done went left. But anyway, so much for him. On another note, I wanted to briefly talk about there has been a surge of illegal streams when watching sporting events online. I don't know, a lot of times when there's, especially like if there's like an NBA game or a boxing match, or I haven't really seen it with football, maybe UFC, but shit, it's so many websites that you can go to that will be streaming these events online. You have people in their homes who have like this makeshift bootlegged setup that they've created in order to play the sporting event on their live TV, but have it recording for others so that they can stream on, whether it's YouTube or their own personal website. And it's TikTok. I've seen games streamed on TikTok, on people's TikTok lives. So, you know illegal streams is a very big thing. However, it has basically become a huge concern for various sports organizations, such as the NBA and UFC, and also the NFL. Because with these live streams, they are easily bypassing certain laws, and the people who are viewing them are not having to pay any subscription fee. You have like, every major network now has their own streaming app, whether it's ABC, CBS, Fox News, BET. Everybody has their own streaming apps, and most of these streaming apps are not free. In order to, look at current, especially live programs like in real time, you have to pay a monthly subscription. So when people illegally stream these shows and events, they are, doing it without people such as you and I not having to pay any type of subscription fee. We're getting to view the same shit for the free ski. Now, I like to get some shit for free. I don't know about y'all. I'm not paying no subscription to watch a fuck ass thing. But I can understand from a business standpoint, by the sports organizations, how they are losing out on billions of dollars with these illegal streams. So the takedown of illegal streams um, comes under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Acronym is DMCA, and they're sending out basically notices expeditiously, that fans often get to watch a sporting match till all the way to the end before the DMCA, snatches the stream down. So it's like the NFL, NBA, UFC. I'm sure they probably have a team of people that kind of surveys the internet to figure out where their shows sports games are streaming illegally. And when it's happening live, what they do is they will probably strike that particular video or strike that stream using the DMCA law, right? And what's happening is that whatever the show is streaming on, whatever platform it is, the platform, even when they strike it with the DMCA, is taking the platform itself a long time or hours in some instances before they even snatch the stream down. So by the time the DMCA takes action on that particular stream, the hundreds and thousands of people who's sitting there watching it, they've already watched the entire show. So it's like, what's the purpose of the DMCA? None at all. So these American sports organizations, hey, they want that to be changed. Instead of the DMCA, the DMCA being processed expeditiously, they want it to be processed instantaneously or near instantaneously. Now, I don't know how every system or streaming platform um is set up, but hey, I'm sure it's probably going to cost people like YouTube and other platforms. It's going to cost them money to even probably, revisit and adjust or make changes to how the DMCA is actioned, on these streams. So it's going to take labor hours. I'm sure they probably, at this point, maybe do not even have a way to set it up to where the action can take place instantaneously. That means like immediately. Immediately. Like as soon as I click the button that says, hey, strike this stream, they want it to happen immediately. They want it to be taken down immediately. So in a recent letter sent to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, acronym USPTO, and mind you, this information is coming from essentiallysports.com. They reportedly mentioned this. They also cited that the delay in the takedowns resulted in these organizations losing up to $28 billion when calculated in terms of potential annual revenue loss. You got Adam Silver from the NBA and Dana White from the UFC pushed hard for these changes to go through. Let's say. So they asked, why could the passing of a new law be fatal for a few? It first came into action back in 1998 under the presidency of Bill Clinton. Back then, the social challenges faced by these sports authorities were different, so no one could have foreseen the struggles of today. That's why the NBA, UFC, and NFL want the law to become effective from this very moment. However, this possesses a downside. The majority of small businesses, especially those in the clothing line, get affected badly due to the DMCA. So, a change in the act may result in the shutdown of several growing startups due to intellectual property infringement. On the one hand, it is necessary for those at the top to cooperate on this, but on the other hand, it could cause irreversible damage to some. The USA sports market takes a deep breath as they are about to enter yet another disruption. So what they're basically saying is, a lot of times these illegal streams is just like you and I, if we were to go to the actual sporting event, like in real life, like we go to the stadium and we sit down and watch the football game or watch an NBA game. All of that is part of marketing and advertising. You get to go see your favorite teams, right? And then you always, most people like to have some form of paraphernalia of their favorite team. So they will buy, clothing items such as sweatshirts and t-shirts, hats. I'm a hat girl. I love hats. Hats and things of that nature, coats, jackets, socks. And if the DMCA law then is put into place, to act instantaneously, then people who are platforms and these small businesses who are streaming illegally, again, that affects the advertising and marketing to thousands and thousands of viewers who tune in, who again have favorite teams, favorite sports athletes that they love to watch, and who also would probably purchase a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hat, and things of that nature. So that's why they said, the clothing industry, especially those who suffer, those who, own these small businesses who sell sports memorabilia, may be affected by, the DMCA Act as well. So how do you guys feel about that? It's kind of like I'm kind of like, half and half, 50-50 on this. I understand the need to want to be able to recover $28 billion that these sports organizations has lost due to illegal streams, but at the same time it's like, how do you avoid it? It's almost impossible. As long as people have TVs in their own cribs, there can always be someone with their cell phone, with their iPad, sitting on a tripod, recording that same sports show from their television and streaming it on their YouTube channel or streaming it on their TikTok. So it's almost like there's really no way to avoid it except by maybe the DMCA, DMCA, but we'll see how that works out for them and see if any changes, get made. I've been on this bitch for about an hour. There's been so many other things that have happened. Let me just maybe close out this hour. What else has happened? Boosie and his daughter going back and forth. She claims he's deadbeat dad. She's been pissed off ever since he took away her BMW. I mean, not BMW, a Mercedes car. He took it back from her. I still don't really know why he did that. But he took it back for sure. And yeah, I don't really know what's their problem, but it's so embarrassing. It's extremely embarrassing. Cause he's been going in on her, talking about how, her little ass go to like football games, and people told him she been caught fucking behind the bleacher, like all kind of crazy shit. It's like, oh my god. Oh my God, this is too much. So Boosie, please work out this situation with your daughter. We do not need to be seeing this type of shit. This is absolutely too much. What else has been going on? Erica Mena, speaking of Love and Hip Hop earlier with Gunplay, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has been on the air this new season, and Erica Mena and Spice from Jamaica, the Jamaican artist, they got into this argument. Apparently, Spice may have brought up Erica Mena's child, her son, her maybe her oldest son, possibly. But anyway, in retaliation, Erica Mena basically called Spice a blue monkey. This isn't the first time Erica Mena have called a woman of color a monkey. She's a woman of color as well, which I don't understand. But hey, that all goes back to this deep-rooted sense of colorism that a lot of people have, and they try to not bring it out. But of course, you piss somebody off in an argument, or in a drunken splendor, you always tend to hear of individuals, saying some colorist or racist ass shit. Erica Mena, should she be fired from the show, kicked off of Love and Hip Hop? At this point, it seems as though this might be her only check. But should she be kicked off for this statement? Yes, she probably should. If it's especially a repeated thing that's been going on. Plus, there was a video of her recently celebrating, partying at an Atlanta club, and she got thrown out. Something happened. She's standing up on the couches, acting belligerent. And so, the security guards at the club had to kind of manhandle her to kick her out. Then Zell Swag may have tried to jump in. Bambi may have tried to jump in. Saucy Santana walked out. And anyway, Zell, Erica Mena, and Bambi, they all were locked up for probably disorderly conduct. I'm sure they're probably out of jail now, but it's just a lot going on with the Love and Hip Hop. I mean, their season is going on, and they're trying to drum up as much publicity as they possibly can. Hey, more power to them. Whatever you got to do. If you, I swear, these people just do whatever they need to do. They don't really give a fuck about making a fool of themselves in any capacity, just so they can, keep people tuning into the season. Keep their clout levels high, and do what it is that they got to do, which will help them, I guess, keep a little bitty check in their pocket. So I don't know, but a lot of this shit is just dumb to me, and I've never gotten it. And even when I had the magazine, I would write about Love and Hip Hop. I felt as though Mona Scott Young and the white guy, I forgot his name, who were the executive producers of the show, were definitely just promoting bullshit, and it's continued to be promoted. I believe Mona Scott and them sold the rights to the show. If I'm not, I don't know. I don't want to lie. I like to have my facts on this podcast, but whatever the case may be, it's still on air, and it's still some bullshit. And as well as Zeus Network bullshit as well. However, I don't like to say anything bad about a person without also lifting them up and saying something positive. These networks did give, a lot of just random Joe Blow, blue collar, former working 9 to 5 ex-strippers, gave them an opportunity, and that's a positive thing. That's a positive way to look at it. All of them were given an opportunity. They were able to just kind of change their lives, and whichever way they changed their lives, start making probably a little bit more money, gaining notoriety, and so, hey, I do appreciate people like Lemuel from Zeus Network, Mona Scott Young, for giving individuals, these random people some opportunities to change their lives. So whether or not they were able to change their life and made the most of it, hey, that's on them. But yeah, we've seen some great Cinderella stories come out of the franchise. One off top is definitely Cardi B. She just did a complete 360 with her life, and see where she is now, just off of having that, being on the internet, doing her little videos, talking shit online on Instagram, getting an opportunity to be a cast member on Love and Hip Hop, and that bitch ran with the opportunity, and she made the most of it. So I can't really hate on that aspect of it. So shout out to y'all. But anyway, it's time. It's time for me to get out of here. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate the love. Thank you for running my YouTube views up as well. Check us out there. Check us out on all streaming platforms. Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, all of them. But yeah, definitely keep checking us out. And until our next episode, peace out.